Welcome back to the hills. Just want to take a moment. We've got just shy of a couple months until turkey season gets here, and getting pretty excited about everything. Just wanted to take a moment and explain how special and important it is to be practicing your calls before season. I'm by no means a talented turkey caller, but I'm efficient enough that I can harvest birds regularly, year after year. And I do it by this time of year. It's February 17th right now. I've been doing it for a couple months now, but this time of year I basically live with a turkey call in my mouth. Anytime I have some spare moments to practice blowing my diaphragm calls. And you might think, I don't have that much time to practice. I'm never going to be good at a diaphragm call. I'll just stick to stalking them or however it is that you like to hunt them. And if that's what you want to do and that's what you prefer to do, by all means do it. But if you want to see the whole dance whenever you're calling one into you, when you're driving to work or driving to your kids' ball practice or whatever you may be doing, where most of us are just sitting and listening to radios on our drive, stick a diaphragm call in your mouth and make noises on it. You don't have to be perfect. I've been trying to figure out how to gobble this year. I'm by no means perfect at it, but the great part of it is the only one here that can see it is you guys if I show it to you on camera. Yeah, someone driving by might see me, mouthing something, but hey, they don't care. They're in their own world, and B, in the grand scheme of things, does it really matter? You're never gonna see that person again. So I know you've heard it a million times, but practice makes perfect, and the only way you're going to get good at calling turkeys with a diaphragm call is by practicing it. So use the time that you have when you're not really doing anything. Obviously be safe. I'm not telling you guys to put yourself in an unsafe driving condition, but if you're driving down a back road and you got nothing better to do, instead of whistling a tune, pull out a diaphragm call and get some practice in. See, I don't even necessarily try to sound like a turkey. Sometimes I just make noises to see what I can do. A lot of times you can go, and there's a lot of great tutorials on how to blow a diaphragm call, and I'm never going to give you a tutorial because honestly, the way that I have found out to blow turkey calls is just by making weird noises, like holding my tongue at certain angles or different pressures, or blowing different ways, or holding my mouth, my lips a certain way. Honestly, on the road is probably one of the best ways that I have discovered that I can make noises on a turkey call, because my mind is focused on something and I'm not sitting here nitpicking every little noise that comes out of my mouth or out of the call. I'm learning, I'm creating, I'm inventing, if you will. Obviously, I'm not reinventing a wheel. I'm not going to come up with a turkey sound that no one else has ever done, but maybe I do it a different way. Maybe the structure of my mouth is different than everyone else's, and I have to blow a certain cut or blow a certain way. I'm never going to find that information out unless I play around with it and experience or experiment with it. So that's just a little food for thought. I know I'm not the first person that said it, but you know, practicing your calling while you're driving, I mean, that is absolutely irreplaceable call time that you're gonna get. Honestly, sometimes I will actually play on my Bluetooth radio in my truck. I'll play turkey sounds and I'll try to emulate them. I get nowhere near it, but I mean, it's another little piece that you can add to your turkey hunting toolbox, if you will, that will help you get just a little bit better. But you know, maybe you're watching this video and you're thinking to yourself, but Jordan, my diaphragm calls aren't lacking. You know, I'm pretty good with a mouth call. My problem is friction. Whether it's a slate call like what I got here, or a box call, or a scratch box, or a trumpet, and you know, yeah, obviously you're not going to be able to do that while you're driving. You know, you need to have both hands to be able to run those calls. That doesn't mean that you can't practice. You know, maybe you're fortunate enough like me where you get home before everyone else and you have the house to yourself for a little bit. You know, right now I just got home. I'm getting ready to turn my computer on and edit this video and get some other things done. But before I'm doing it, I'm going to sit down here for a little bit and I'm going to run my slate call. You know, just sitting around and it's the same concept of when I was running my diaphragm call. I'm not necessarily looking to sound like a turkey perfectly. I'm not trying to get those perfect crispy yelps. I'm not trying to get those perfect clucks. I'm not trying to get those perfect purrs. All I'm trying to do is figure out what works for me. How I hold my hand, how I hold the pot, how I hold the paddle on my box call, how, you know, I press my lips on the trumpet call. Whatever the case may be, I'm not looking for perfection right now. I'm looking to practice. I'm looking to become better than I was last year, more efficient than I was last year, a better turkey caller, and inevitably a better hunter. Nothing, in my opinion, will ever trump time in the woods, boots on ground scouting. But it's an unrealistic expectation to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm going to go to the woods 3 out of the 7 days this week. If you're like me, you've got kids, you've got bills, you've got other responsibilities. Hunting is your life, your passion. It's what you're driven to do. But we still have to be the men and women that God called us to be outside of the outdoors. Fathers, mothers, businessmen and women. Whatever it is that your life consists of, you got to do it. So you have to make time to practice. Now, if you're not lucky like me and you get home to an empty house, are you doomed? Absolutely not. I used to live in an apartment for quite a long time, and I was actually in the military for a while also. And obviously in an apartment life or in barracks life, you're not going to get away with just ripping on a box call. It's not going to happen. You're either going to get evicted, or if you're in the military, you're going to get your butt whooped. I mean, there's a million things that are going to happen if you go and you try to practice. You know, let's face it, turkey calling is loud, especially practicing. And if you've got kids that play musical instruments, you know how annoying it is to hear that same note over and over and over and over again. But like I said, that doesn't mean that the jig's up for you. What I used to do when I lived in an apartment is I would actually go sit in my truck and run my turkey call. And if that's embarrassing for you, you know, maybe don't go straight home. Keep your calls in your truck or your car and sit in a parking lot. You know, make sure it's legal before you do it, but go sit at a park, something, and just sit there and call. Call and call and call. And like I said, you're not looking for perfection. You're looking for noises, you know. How can I purr? If I put it against my leg, it gives it a more subtle sound, or maybe, hey, I know that in this situation in the woods, if a turkey's working in, I need to do X, Y, Z. And you just practice those scenarios before it gets to prime time, before it becomes important, before those perfect little notes do matter. You know, if I'm sitting here talking to this camera and I do that, I didn't booger a turkey. I didn't mess anything up. All I did is show you guys that I'm human. If I get into the woods and I've got a turkey working at 60 yards and I screech one out across a piece of slate, is it a guaranteed mess up? No, but that turkey now knows that something's weird. So use this time now. Like I said, it's February 17th. If you live way down south, Florida, Alabama, places like that, turkey season's coming up on you pretty quick. If you live up north, hey, you still got a nice window. And if you haven't started, don't panic. And if you live, you know, where we're starting around April time, hey, you still have time to get it done. Practice, 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 practice. And you don't need to practice for an hour a day, 2 hours a day. I'm not sitting here telling any one of you, you need to be the next Grand National caller if you want to be a successful turkey hunter, because that is the farthest thing from the truth, because I am no Grand National caller. Just because I have a sponsorship with Appalachian Custom Calls does not mean I'm the best caller in the world. I know enough to put a turkey in the back of my truck because I spend time practicing. And like I said, 3-4 hours a day isn't what I do. I have a 20-minute drive home, and I might call for about 10 minutes of that, and then I might sit down at my desk and just play around on my call for another 10 minutes before I get going, and then maybe I stop halfway through and I run that call again. So right there, within 3 different blocks, I've gotten myself 30 minutes total of practicing in the course of a day, and I didn't do anything outside of the norm of my day. I didn't set a schedule to practice. I didn't have a specific agenda that I had to follow, a structured plan. You know, maybe structured plans work for you, but for me, they don't. If I feel like I have to do it, it takes the joy out of it for me. And if we're not enjoying it, then what's the point? Because at the end of the day, none of us have to turkey hunt. In other words, we don't require it to survive. Now I have to because I'm addicted to it, and I'm sure most of you can relate to that. But regardless, we don't have to do it to actually survive. None of us are going to bed hungry if we don't harvest a turkey. If you walk away from this video remembering one thing and one thing only, just remember, consistency kills every time. The number one way to get better at anything is to be consistent in it. So with that being said, I would much rather see you guys practice 15 minutes a day every single day than to practice 4 hours one time a week. Consistency will always win. If you are constantly just familiarizing yourself with that call, whether it's a diaphragm call, a pot call, a box call, etc., whatever the case may be, if you have it in your hands or in your mouth or whatever the case is, every single day, even if it's only 15 minutes a day, I guarantee you, you're going to be a better turkey caller and you're going to kill more birds. Mark my words on that. If you guys have gotten anything useful out of this video, please hit the like button, leave me a comment, let me know what you like about it. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is linked somewhere in the bio of my YouTube channel. Swing on over there, give me a follow, and send me y'all's success stories this spring. I would love to see photos of your turkeys, your kids' turkeys, whoever it is. Send me photos. This year I'm going to try to do a brag board on my Instagram if I can get enough people over there to spread the word to. So like I said, swing on over to my Instagram, give me a follow. Give me a follow on here, and let's build a community of like-minded folks who love turkey hunting. I hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, see you on the hill.